Hey there, MRA, my Real Africanist. This is Marie Ya Jouf, the Real Africanist, and welcome to my channel. If you have been here before, thank you for coming back. And if this is your first time here, I appreciate you watching. On my channel, I talk about African history, the field of African studies, and current African affairs, right? So, I was as always, I was just scrolling on the internet, right? And so I came across another article, like always, about Larry Elder, right? And for those of you who do not know who Larry Elder is a conservative, right-wing politician, right, who happens to be black, right, who has risen to fame by being a black member of the Conservative Party who talks about black people in a negative and degrading way, and is always talking about the fact that systematic racism does not exist, right? And that it's not the major issue that is holding black people back in America, but actually it's black people's unwillingness to take responsibility for themselves, and it's black people who are always playing victim. And he says that we are playing victim, and we believe that we are experiencing racism because our leaders, those of the Democrat Party, have convinced us that we are victims, right? Like we don't have brains to think for ourselves, like we don't live in a country, right, that had over 300 years of slavery, right? That we don't live in a country that had almost 100 years of Jim Crow laws, right? That we don't live in a country now where we continue to experience racism on a daily basis, okay? So you have this guy, one of many, who are part of this conservative, mostly white conservative Republican Party, right? Who, again, gains his supports from white people by, skinning and grinning and talking about how, black people are more racist than white people, and all this stuff. So anyway, he was trying to, he was trying to get enter into this debate, right? The first Republican Party debate, right? And he found out like a day before the debate that he did not qualify, right? And so now he's walking around stumping and crying, right? Because him and a few more people did not qualify. And ironically, it was him, some other older white cat, and this other mixed guy. They were ironically the three that did not qualify, right, to be on the debate floor for this first Republican debate, right? Coincident, right? Yeah, I know. So I just wanted to say, he done messed around and found out, just like his counterparts, the former president of the RNC, Michael Steele, and another pull yourself up by your bootstraps, Herman Cain, found out, right? Michael Steele, he used to be the president of the RNC, right? And he was forced out as president because they were saying that, that he really wasn't a good leader and that he was not a good fundraiser, right? But all the time, people who were supporting candidates of the Republican Party, big donors, instead of sending money directly to the RNC, while Michael Steele was at the head of it, right? They sent it directly to the candidate and to his campaign, right? So they didn't want to send it to the black man because he was heading the party, right? So, you know, he got his wake-up call. He was another black conservative sitting up there talking about how he was going to reform these white Republicans, and, you know, how you know, basically the same old rhetoric. Black people always vote Democrat and this and that, right? But then they showed him, hand him his black card, right? And then the same thing with Herman Cain. I'm not sure if you all are familiar with Herman Cain. Unfortunately, Herman Cain passed away of COVID, right? I think that was in about 2020 or something like that, right? That was unfortunate. But Herman Cain, he was another one, right? Another one always running around here talking this pull yourself up by your bootstraps, and the reason why black people aren't more successful today because they haven't taken responsibility, and because of these what they call safety net policies, right, that are that black people have become dependent on, right? And these safety net policies talking about, you know, this what is it called, TANF now, or AFDC as it would call, and that was aid to you know, families with dependent children, you know, and these food stamp programs. These programs were started, right, under Franklin D. Roosevelt, right? And they were started for white people and white women in more particularly, right? And black people really never had an opportunity back then to take advantage of these safety net programs because of discrimination, right? Because blacks didn't have access to the same program. So it was mostly white women who benefited from these programs. So it was not until black women started being able to take advantage of these programs that, you know, it started to be a big deal, right? And still to this day, again, you know, we as black people, you know, we go around regurgitating this mess, talking about how we paying taxes for black women to, you know, be on welfare. That's another name that it was called, to be on welfare and all of this. And, you know, these women, I mean, there are some that abuse the system, just like there are some whites that abuse the system. It's more whites on welfare than it actually is blacks. But most people won't tell you that, right? Because they make black women the poster child of these aid programs, right? And that's another thing that pisses me off, right? You have a lot of you have all these black women who have struggled to raise their kids against all odds, to try to keep their kids safe in a country that does not value them, right? Have done everything when our men have been taken out of the house for whatever reason, and then we are always the most vilified people, you know. I mean, I know that nobody on either side is always right, and I'm not saying that black women, all black women, you know, or, you know, have done everything right. But this system has historically been against the black family, against the black man and the woman. But it's mighty funny that we are the ones. Well, I won't say that we are the ones that always get vilified, because black men get vilified too. But what it has done is turned us on each other, right? And so we have our black men vilifying the black woman, and we have the black woman vilifying the black man, which is a very tragic situation. And we both don't understand that it's the system and those that run this system that has us doing this, right? But anyway, you know, I was saying these women, they barely get, I mean, a couple $100 a month, you know, for a kid. Now tell me, what is that going to do? And you might pay $2 probably of your taxes go to these programs. You know, that's just like in Africa when they talk about all of this aid that they're giving African countries, and then you come to find out that they giving them like 0.1% of money for aid, right? They're really not giving them anything, and as a matter of fact, it's probably just the interest on the money and the resources that they have stolen from Africa in the first damn place, and that's sitting over here in they coffers, raking in interest, and then you give it back to us, you loan it back to us, and then they have to pay interest on it, top of that, right? So anyway, that's another story altogether. But what I was saying was that Larry Elder and Herman Cain, right? I was on Herman Cain. So Herman Cain, you know, he ran for president. I think that was 2000. Well, he was running for president, and he was going to run against Barack Obama in his second term, right? However, his on his Republican ticket, it was also Mitt Romney, right? So he was going up against Mitt Romney to see who would get the nomination. And of course, Mitt Romney got the nomination, right? Because all of a sudden, once Herman Cain showed that he could really win a popular vote around, because he beat Mitt Romney, I think in one he did beat Mitt Romney in one poll, right? And in one county or in one state. Then all of a sudden these allegations come out about Herman Cain having extramarital affairs and sexual assault charges against him, right? You know, like they didn't know that all the time, right? So then they handed him his black card. Go sit down, right? Go sit down, black man. Thank you for promoting us, right? But go sit down, because we know who we want to represent our party, right? And another thing happened to, what else happened? It was something else happened to Cain. Oh yeah, so you know he did unfortunately again pass of COVID, but like I said, he was out when Trump was running for his second term. He out running all around the country with Trump with no mask on, you know, talking about COVID wasn't real and people that had enough, right? You know, regardless of how you feel about COVID, how it came down the pipe, it was real. Whatever it was, it killed a whole lot of people, got a whole lot of people sick, and it's a whole lot of people alive today that thank God that they overcame that. So however you feel about it, right, it was here. And then next thing you know, like I say, he running around the country talking about Trump, and then next thing you know, unfortunately, he passes away from COVID. And the sad part about that, the sad but expected part, they ain't even mentioned the man's name. They ain't even mentioned his name. They ain't said nothing about him since. I didn't hear one Republican, maybe Mitt Romney, I think he said it's unfortunate he passed away, but they ain't said nothing about him. Nothing. Thank you for your support. Nothing. We sorry you passed away, you know, can we help you? Nothing. Just thank you. Okay, so, you know, like I said, no better for Larry Elder, right? No better for him. You know, I don't think it's, what am I trying to say? I be getting hyped, right? I don't think it's by coincidence that he was left out of this first debate, right? And that they waited till the last minute to tell him that he didn't qualify. I don't think that was by mistake, right? And like I say, now he all up in arms talking about he gonna sue. I'm like, welcome to the club, Larry Elders. Now you kind of see what systemic black racism is, right? You know, although you had a mother, although you had a father, right? That didn't stop them from telling you, go sit down, right? You are not the one that we want to represent us, right? And what kills me is that, you know, all these people, they like, because he was on the Breakfast Club, I think, the other day, and you hear all these people, and they're talking about, yeah, he told Charlemagne, blah, blah, this, blah, blah, that. But, Charlemagne just asked him a question, a simple question. Have you ever had a moment, where they basically handed you your black card? And instead of answering that, he went on an attack and started talking about Joe Biden, and people act like, and it really hurts me when our own black people say that, they act like we are, some black people are retarded or stupid. Yeah, black people have historically voted Democrat. But if you do the research and you do the history, then you understand why we have historically voted Democrat. Is it feasible? Should we continue to do it? No. But I say one thing. I don't see a future for black people in the Republican Party either. The Republican Party has done nothing more than the Democratic Party has done when it comes to providing a platform and definitive policies on what they are going to do to support the African American community. Most of the Republicans are probably against reparations, right? And if they are saying that they are not, they're just talking, right? So they can score brownie points with the black community. And we're talking about the current Republican Party, who is a party who was federally found culpable for bringing crack cocaine into the the African American community, right? And a party who has been found culpable of giving these extreme sentencings to black men in the African American community, right? You're talking about the party of Ronald Reagan. You're talking about the party of George Bush Jr. and Sr. These are the people that you're talking about. The party of Richard Nixon. And then you think that somehow switching party is going to get you what you want? Neither one of them give a hoot about black people. All these politicians are basically for themselves. There's some good ones out there, but when it comes to operating within the machine, they're not going to be successful helping black people get the justice that is due them. It's just not going to happen here in this country, right? It's time for a third party. It's time for a people's party. But to make this argument somehow that we need to switch parties and somehow they gonna be the great white to save you, and they ain't gonna come and save nothing. Nada. It ain't gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. So Larry Elder, he can save it. He talked about what Biden said. I'm not surprised. Like I said, I'm not for Biden either. I'm not surprised that he said what he said. But I'm sure not going to give Larry Elder no brownie points for nothing. For nada. Around here talking about that the problem with the black community is fatherlessness and taking responsibility. Yeah, we have an issue with fatherlessness. Yes, it's a big problem. We have a lot of problems in our community, right? But so does other communities. They have problems with fatherlessness. And I didn't find that out till I got older and started hearing all these white folks and all these Hispanic folks and all these other folks talking about my father wasn't there, my father wasn't there. Oh, yeah? Oh, yeah, huh? Never knew that. Looking at June Cleaver on TV and what was his name? I can't even think of the daddy's name on there. But all these TV shows that they use to brainwash, black folks and show them what a proper family is supposed to look like, right? How you gonna have a proper family? living in America, where their main goal is to, suppress you, to subjugate you, to enslave you, to exploit you, to exploit your labor, to take a man and beat him in front of his wife, in front of his women, in front of his children, reduce him to nothing, to rubble, so they won't have no respect for him, to take their woman, to rape her in front of the man, and dare him to do something with a shotgun pointed at their head. Take their children away from them, coming out of the mama's womb. And they talking about fatherlessness, taking black men and breeding them with their own sisters and mamas, and and they talking about fatherlessness. Let's talk about the history of fatherlessness in this country among black people. It didn't start in this country, it started in Africa. Right? It started when you took all of the fathers out of Africa and brought them over here to your land to work for you. And like I say, then when they get over here, you strip them of their dignity. Bring them in chains and shackles, the stuff that you don't want to teach in the history class, so people won't know what you did, so you can tell your version of the story. Then you get over here, like I say, work them for 300-400 years. Like I say, reduce them to an animal. Create children with their women and put your children over them. Let your children talk to them let them talk to grown men like they little boys. All under military occupation. And then let them go, turn them loose, and say, pull yourself up by your bootstrap. Then when you pull yourself up by your bootstrap, they jealous. They go into your communities and burn up your communities. Flood them out. Down in Georgia and Atlanta. Go do the research. Where they just flooded out the whole community. What's the name of that lake? I can't think of it, but look it up. Just say in Georgia, Lake Lanier. All over the United States. Just look it up. Massacres where they done burnt out whole black communities, thriving communities. These communities that they said that black people couldn't create, but we pulled ourselves up by our bootstrap. Then they come along and burn up your damn boot. And then, after they pass laws to ban slavery, to try to ban discrimination, then they pass other laws so that you can't compete, you can't even work in certain industries. They regulate you to these jobs where you're getting paid cash, so you can't even qualify for these so-called safety net programs. Then they ask you to go fight for them. You fight for them in all their wars. They send all your men to fight. And your women too, they put them in the service. And they promise you all kind of stuff. We gonna do this one. You get out, you fight, lose your life, and some come back. They don't give you nothing. Absolutely nothing. Right? And then when you're finally kind of making it around, blam, here come the drugs. Your own government pushing guns into your community, and still do it to this day. That's what's happening over in Nigeria right now. Drugs. They don't even talk about the drugs that they give the young people, the soldiers over there, because they want them to fight. The drugs, the guns, all of this stuff. The same thing that happens all over the world. And then they want to talk about fatherlessness. And then got the nerve to talk about how we are being made a fool of. I mean, by the Democratic Party, right? Like the Republican Party not making a damn fool out of you. You know, and they got a history of doing it. They got a history of doing it. Like I said, the Democrats, they might not be doing their job, but at least they know that these, some of these, so-called safety net programs, we do need them. I mean, because I don't know why, what has happened to the consciousness of some of us as black people. We used to be a very conscious and caring people about people that were less fortunate than ourselves, right? The strong in our communities stood for the weak. We shared, even when we had a little bit, we shared it. But now we got so high and mighty and so capitalistic that now we don't even care about the little man. Let them starve. Well, I won't even give people something to eat. I got mine. They got to get theirs. When that happened? Everybody should be worthy of something to eat. And believe me, them little pennies that these people that are on these safety net programs, it's nothing but enough to get them something to eat. That's it. You know? And, you know, like I say, for me, it's really sad to see that this is where we have, this is what has happened to us living under this system of white supremacy. You know, everybody's on their own. You know, we are a communal people, but now we're just so individualistic. Everything is about me. Me, 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 me. So anyway, I'm just glad to see Larry Elder's been handed his black card, and I'm looking forward to see what else is going to happen. You know, how else will he be handed his black card? I'm looking forward to it, right? All right. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I always forget to tell you that. I am Marie Ya Jouf, the Real Africanist. And again, thank you for watching. I look forward to talking to you again. Always remember the ancestors. Always remember to fight the power. And always remember, when you're researching the African story, always go deeper. Because what is on the surface is most likely distorted. And you're going to have to go deeper to find out the real truth for yourself. All right? I'll talk to you later, and peace.